I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean. Guaranteed, just like the woman on the other mic. I'm talking about the beautiful Miss Anna Vocino. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Anna, birthday wish going out right away. To one Mr. Don Coddington.
It's the billionaire Don Coddington's Friday, 5 o'clock blast off.
His birthday was yesterday, October 2nd.
Oh, happy birthday, Donaldton Coddington.
Yeah. Mr. Donaldton Coddington.
Mr. Donaldton Coddington. What does somebody do who's that rich? What do you do, Don?
They just, I don't know, they buy like 1,000 things of baby oil or something. I don't know what they do. The rich guys are into all kinds of whack. Yeah. I don't want to get into it because I don't care. But the only thing, is like all I hear is P. Diddy is arrested. And I keep going, well, what did he do? And he had 1,000
it was real bad.
Baby oil. And I'm like, what else did he do?
I think it was like a human trafficking thing. I don't know the full details.
I don't know any of it either. But
not for this podcast.
People think because I was so engrossed in Hollywood. I mean, my career was working with celebrities.
Yeah.
So people call me, and I'm doing this as a public service, folks. Quit asking me. I don't know P. Diddy. I've never met the man. I don't know anything about him. Yes, I worked with a few rappers that were pretty famous in my career of training celebrities. He wasn't one of them. I don't know him, and I'm sorry. And I hope that whoever was hurt by him or whatever's going on, I just hope that I don't keep up with celebrity news. So I'm sorry for anyone who's asking me if I have P. Diddy information. I don't.
It used to be part of my job to keep up with celebrity news when we were doing free radio years ago. Yeah. And it's been a relief to not have to keep up with it and only have to keep up on the things that I'm interested in. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But health and fitness, we have to keep up on.
Yes.
For you lot out there.
Anna, I fell in love yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
You found true love at 62?
I finally found true love, and it happened after I was married. So it just.
Oh God, isn't that awkward?
I'm having a 3-month itch, I guess.
Vinny's a newlywed, by the way. I know he's been saying wife about Serena for a long time, but
I've called her my wife, but we just actually got as they say, marriage is the only prison where you need a contract. Yeah.
I never heard that. That's great.
Yeah. I think I just made that up.
You're finally legally married.
Yeah.
And I don't think I am legally married.
Really?
Yeah. Because we got married in the Bahamas and apparently you're supposed to file the paperwork and I never did. So whatever. They'll never take us alive.
Yeah, you're screwed either way. All right. So I had a guy that came on my Friday show. And we enjoyed each other's company so much. When the show was over with, I wish I had Mike's. Yeah, Ken Coleman. Yes. Yeah, we fell in love with each other, and we talked about doing other things together.
Great.
That's all I'm going to say. Because nothing's in writing or anything else. But Ken and I listened to that show. Because you're going to go, wait a minute, what does a finance guy from the Dave Ramsey world have to do with fitness? Well, this guy is inspirational. He's just an inspiration all the way around. And after the show, we realized that we had so much in common that we're thinking about doing other stuff together.
Well, I would say how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it would have everything in common with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wouldn't have ever thought. I'm going to be honest. I've heard Ken Coleman. I'm a fan of Ken Coleman's show because I'm a fan of finances and how things work and all that, as you know. Is not my lane. I get it. I'm health and fitness. But love his podcast, love his radio show. But I listen to his radio show on the podcast, right? He just runs it on that. And he was on Mike Rowe's show the very next week after me.
Mm-hmm.
And since I listened to every episode of Mike Rowe, except for the ones I'm on, because who wants to listen to their own voice?
No, that'd be weird. That'd be like us listening back to this podcast. That'd be weird.
So, I was like, I heard Ken and they were talking about Stoicism and all this different stuff and the Stoics, and if you don't know what Stoics are, from probably 300 or 400 BC until it started in Greece with the Greek Stoics. And then it went on, I want to say the Roman Stoics. It probably went on a couple of
Marcus Aurelius is probably the most well-known.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. Yeah. And that's AD. That's after the death of Christ. And that's probably 200 or 300 AD as Marcus Aurelius. I'm not really sure because when it comes to world or Roman history, I just told you everything I know. But I know
the name Marcus Aurelius. No, I love Stoicism. I'm super into it. I know that Ryan Holiday is a good resource for that. He's written a number of books on it to make it accessible and for the modern person.
And it's all about living a life of virtue, not the kind of fake virtue you see online, right? Not people that live a life of virtue. As a matter of fact, I told him one of my things that I talk about, and he says he's going to start using it when he does his speeches. So it's like, great, you're making 15,000 speech and I'm writing them for you now?
Yeah.
And it's my thing, and I haven't told it in a while. Stay tuned, folks, because the first 20 minutes of this show is all about inspiration. And we got into something, and I'll say it here, but he and I talk about it on the show that you'll be hearing in a Friday or so. I had a great leader growing up. Yeah, my dad was great. My grandfather was a big hero in my life. Everybody read famously in my book about Joe Bonadonna, my weightlifting coach. Everybody knows about that stuff. But there was another Joe in my life. And Anna, I've told this story. You're probably sick of hearing it. A guy named Joe Dean. And Joe worked for a small tennis shoe company that ended up becoming a big tennis shoe company. You may have heard of it, Converse. Back when he was working for it, they were making the Chuck Taylor, and that was it. And by the way, Chuck Taylors weren't fashion tennis shoes. That used to be basketball shoes.
Yeah. The players actually wore that to play the games.
Yeah. My first couple of years of playing basketball was that. And then they made a leather version of that called the Converse All-Star. And it was Joe Dean's idea to hook a basketball player to the shoe. So they hooked the great Dr. J.
That's right.
Played for the 76ers. Hey, Dr. J, where'd you get those shoes? Well, no, where'd you get those moves? Are you wearing magic shoes? Dr. J in the Dr. J All-Star. And it was a leather version of the old Chuck Taylor, right? I think Converse should bring that shoe back. I would own a pair. Because
do they not have a leather version? I'm sure they do. I'm going to look at Converse. I only ever wear Chuck Taylors because I'm a 13-year-old boy at heart.
Yeah, I'm a Chuck Taylor guy too because I'm a 14-year-old lesbian girl. And so, yeah, I'm a Chuck Taylor. I still wear Chucks, right? So anyway, Joe Dean took me under his wing when I was a kid. Man lived down in Louisiana. And at the time, he was still working for Converse and moved up the ladder, and he was in the front office and the whole thing. By the time Joe Dean cashed out at Converse, he was a millionaire. The guy could go off and live the rest of his life and do nothing. But that's not what he did. He moved on to LSU and became the athletic director there and was the athletic director that turned that whole program around to make it the football power that it is today. He's the man who introduced me to people like Pistol Pete Maravich, because Coach Maravich and Joe Dean were best friends. Joe Dean played on a 1956 basketball team in the Olympics. The guy, is just synonymous with sports. He was the guy in Southern basketball, the SEC. He was the announcer. He came up with the phrase string music. That was his phrase that was used for a lot of years. So he was also an announcer. What are you looking up there, Anna?
I'm going to need these shoes like immediately.
Do they still make them?
Yeah. I'm texting you them. I'm going to need these.
I want to make sure that they're the shoes.
White and black.
Well, the original color was white, and
I want both. Because you know what? How I'm going to have to spray these white ones so they don't get dirty.
Let's see here. I got to load it.
The thing that I love about Converse, they're still affordable. These are $70, which by the way, remember Converse is $15, but
you sent me a Chuck Taylor.
No, this is the latest All-Star.
No, I want you to look up the Dr. J.
Oh, the Dr. J. No, I'm talking about did they still make it because I'm going to order it.
Yeah, the Chuck Taylors are known as the All-Stars, but you want the Dr. J.
I know, but they don't still make that.
Okay, well, I could get these. I don't want it. All right, so anyway.
Oh, yeah. See, they're doing these here.
Another version.
Vintage one. Yep.
Okay, so let me get back to it.
They only have the low top.
Joe Dean is one of my most inspiring people in the world, and he took me under his wing when I was a young kid. I used to go to the basketball camp that he had out in Mississippi, and that was one of the first sports camps I went to. And he saw me as a young, great athlete. And he was the guy that told me, he said, I've seen bricklayers who are better basketball players than you. Because I've never seen anyone worse at playing basketball than you, but you will end up on any high school coach's roster and you will play, because I've never seen anyone hustle and play defense as well as you do. You never have to worry about making a shot. You'll be on the team. And boy, was he right. He was also the guy that knew that I would be a good football player. He could see what was in me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I wasn't built like a basketball player. I was able to move very fast. I wasn't good at shooting, but I was able to do everything else.
I sent you the shoe, by the way. The correct shoe.
Again, since Anna
I was looking for the shoe that I'm going to buy, but they don't make that one now.
That's the original.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would make that shoe again. I would buy it.
Yes.
I would buy a lot of them. So anyway, Joe Dean had a saying, and this is the saying that Ken says he's going to start using on stage. He said to me one day, we were having one of our conversations. And you got to remember, I'm a 12, 13-year-old kid, and this man is speaking to me as if I'm an adult. He said, Vinnie, where do your parents keep the trash can? And I said, well, underneath the sink, Mr. Dean, just like everyone does. He goes, yeah, we do that too. My wife has it underneath the sink. He goes, you ever open that cabinet and the garbage can is teeming over with garbage? I said, of course, yeah. He goes, whatever you were throwing away, a candy wrapper, a Coke can, whatever you have you ever just laid it on top of that pile, smushed it down a little bit, and then closed the door? Made it someone else's problem? I said, sheepishly, I said, yeah, I've done that a bunch. And he goes, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take the garbage out. And I'm in Summit, Mississippi. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, anytime you see that garbage can is full, I want you to take it out. I want you to take the garbage out. I said, okay, Mr. Dean, I can do that. He says, now there's another part to this. I don't want you to tell anyone you took it out. I don't want you to, if you're having an argument with your brothers or sisters, I said, well, Mr. Dean, I only have brothers. He says, shut up and listen. I said, okay. He says, don't go say, oh, I took the garbage out. You guys have to clean up the, he goes, don't do any of that. You see something needs to be done, make it your problem. Don't make it anyone else's problem. He goes, you start with the garbage can, you do everything in life. You have to have a virtuous life. Take the garbage out in life. And that one thing, Anna, taught me everything I had to know about life. You do things not so that other people can see it, right? And look, as I told my new best friend, Ken, and you know this, when I used to ride my bike on weekends to train for these races, I might be on a bike for 250 miles on a Saturday. And if I'm out with friends Saturday night or the next day or whatever, they'll say, oh, you ride that bike all the time. Vinny, how far did you ride today? I would always say 75 miles, no matter what. And then a friend called me out on that. My friend Christina, she was we were at her house one night and someone said, she goes, Vinny, I've noticed that when anyone asks how far you've ridden the day before, whatever, no matter what, you say 75 miles. And we all know that that's not the truth. And I said, yeah. And she goes, well, why do you do that? I said, because it makes sense. And she goes, no, it doesn't. You ride way longer than that. And I said, well, let me explain. If I explain to someone that I rode 250 miles, they can't wrap their mind around that. You see, 75 miles seems like a long time to be on a bike, which it is.
If they only knew.
You start telling them 200 or 250 or 300, now they got questions. Well, can you get off and pee? Well, yeah, of course. I'm not going to pee on my bike. I'm going to get off and squirt in the bush and keep going. Well, where do you get water? Well, I'd stop at gas stations along the way and refill my water bottles, right? How do you do this? How do you do that? I don't want to have that.
You're just trying not to talk to people. That's what you're just trying.
Well, I want to hear about your kids. I want you to ask me something important. I don't want to talk about something as mundane as my cycling, because it's part of Stoicism. It's that thing where I don't want to talk about this thing I do. I do it for me. I don't do it. Now today, every time someone goes 10,000 steps, they're like, Instagram, 10,000 steps. I went 10,000 steps. Whoop the fuck. You should go 10,000 steps every day. If you don't, you know what? Start doing it. That should be the start of what you do every day.
I could see, I mean, I like asking people questions. When somebody says something that's out of the norm, I want to hear all about it, but I'm also into mundane details. I find it interesting.
Something interesting, right? Oh, Anna, what do you do? I'm in voiceover. Yeah, what's that like? What's that? You guys just, what do you do that from your house? You're in your pajamas? What do you do? People have this idea, as you know, everyone thinks they can be a voiceover artist.
Yeah.
That's a tough job. People go, oh, everyone tells me I have a great voice. Yeah, guess what? Everyone's got a great voice except me. My new best friend, Ken Coleman, says I sound like Al Pacino had a baby with, what's his name? Christopher Walken.
With the Ruffles guy from the 80s, the Cajun guy.
So
I could see, I could see Al Pacino, Chris Walken, but you got to throw the Ruffles guy in there somewhere. We need a little smattering of Cajun in there.
I don't know the Ruffles guy. Everyone just says I sound like Christopher Walken.
How do you not know the Ruffles guy?
No, I don't.
The Cajun chef? Yes, you do. He was from New Orleans in the 80s.
Oh, how y'all are?
Yeah, and he wound up doing the Ruffles ads.
Yeah, I didn't realize he did Ruffles ads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not that backwards.
No.
Anyway, yeah, being inspired to do something, right? Just the inspiration of it all. I was just watching a movie that came out, apparently, I didn't know this, it came out in 2013. But I went to Netflix earlier and I was like, let me pull something up, right? I need to clear my mind. So I have 45 minutes. So I've only seen 45 minutes of this movie. I haven't seen the end, but I started watching it and I went, wait a minute, this can't possibly be a real story. And then I went back to the beginning and clicked on it. It's like based on true events. I went to Wikipedia. It's a real story. The movie, if you guys want to watch it, I'm going to finish it later on. It's called 23 Blast. 23 Blast. It's about a kid named Travis Freeman who loved playing football and started losing his sight, right? According to Wikipedia, started losing his sight, when he was like 13 or 14. And at some point, couldn't see at all anymore, just completely lost his sight. And in the movie, continued to play football. And I'm at the part where he's on the field now and he's now learning how to play and the whole thing. Turns out it's a real story, real guy in Kentucky, right? And I'm sitting there going, my God, this guy, a blind guy, is playing football with people who can see. This isn't blind playing the blind, because there's blind football teams, there's deaf football teams and whatever. But they usually play other schools of their caliber. Not this guy. He's playing on a regular high school team, which makes me realize anyone can do anything at any given time. You just have to want to do it. If a blind man can play football with people who can see, we can all certainly learn how to lose weight. We can all certainly get rid of type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and sleep apnea. Because I got to tell you, that's a hell of a lot easier than trying to figure out how to play football at all, much less being blind. Take it from me. I could see very well, and that was not an easy sport for me.
You know what, Vinnie? Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Because I love this topic of conversation. You know, you and I are very simpatico on the inspirational stuff and having to, like, you know, shatter negative beliefs so that you can achieve some things. And whether it's playing a sport or accomplishing some sort of career thing or business thing or whatever, financial thing, growing up without and then achieving things. Sometimes I don't even know that something's a possibility. Sometimes I'm taking in too much data from outside of me instead of going and doing the thing. And I thought that might end now that I have entered my 5th decade on this planet, right?
Right.
I thought that, and it turns out, let me give an example.
I was going to answer an example. It's like, I'm hearing her, but I'm not understanding her.
And this is because I do every day. I do a process where I look back at the day before and I say, hey, where were you limiting yourself and your beliefs? What lies have you been telling yourself to keep you from doing the full thing that you need to get done? That's the process that I go, and I get real honest and go, okay, let's not do that anymore. You know, I try to learn from every day's, because there's never a perfect day. You make mistakes every day. I mean, at least I do. If you're perfect, this doesn't apply to you. You can just skip ahead to the exercised fat portion of this podcast.
Yeah, go past whatever Anna's getting ready to say. If you're perfect,
if you're perfect, then ignore what I have to say.
Now that no one's tuned out, go on, Anna.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm actively fundraising for my business, right? Mm-hmm. And by fundraising, I mean seeking investors. And that's usually something where you get people who are high net worth individuals or venture capitalists or family funds or private equity to invest in your company. They own a portion of your company, and then you have enough cash to be able to pull certain levers, and then you grow the company to a higher valuation, and then everybody's happy and everyone makes money, right? That's what happens in an ideal world. And I had in my head some thoughts of what I wanted to do to raise this money. And I went around to the first place to start is your own network. And so then somebody says, call somebody. I met this lady at a trade show. She's a VC. I met this person, that person. I'm talking to everybody. And almost everybody without exception is saying, it's really hard right now to raise money, especially for a food company. It's almost impossible. It's really hard. So I was like, oh, okay. I don't always necessarily want to believe that. But then when so many people say it, you're like, oh, I guess it's then, you know what you're asking for is too much. You shouldn't ask for that much. You should dial it back. So that's a big thing. And then, and by the way, and then also too, there's that big TechCrunch thing that's only 2% of VC money went to female founded businesses last year, according to TechCrunch. Which is again,
what I'm hearing you say, Anna, before you go on, is everyone is telling you how impossible everything is. You're asking for too much. You're a woman. You know, right. Everyone always tells you in life, this is why no one's lending right now. And notice they didn't say no one's lending. They're going, it's very hard. It's always very hard, right?
Of course. Everything's always very hard. And I take it all with a grain of salt because I come from entertainment. To get any job in the entertainment industry, all the planets have to align. And I've managed to make a living doing that. So therefore, you just have to just go and do it, right? And it's interesting because I don't ever try to internalize these things until you hear a story. And then you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I was subconsciously letting stuff affect me. And that is one of my competitors very young kids and adorable and not the kind of product that I would make. It has sugar added and things like that. But however, so I am looking for a certain amount of money on a seed round, which is their very first round before you do a priced round, right? So, and I was too much. They wound up raising 2.7x what I told people I wanted to raise. So they doubled it plus an extra $700,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I was like, well, hold on. If it's obviously it's not impossible. You can do it. I'm not asking for too much. You know what I mean? It's all these things. Now, that being said, it could be, I also believe in timing. The way that I want to grow is in a sustainable way. I'm not doing sugar added stuff. I'm doing high quality stuff. It's going to take a little more time to source the correct ingredients on a larger scale. I get all that. But what I'm saying is hearing things, you can only take in so much from other people. At a certain point, you have to go, well, hold on.
Right.
I have to put all of that aside. Like as much as you've looked in the mirror and you're like, crap, I've let myself get to whatever that weight is that you've designed for yourself that you feel like is too much and you've had it, you're fed up. And you have to go, you know what? If they did it over there, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, and sometimes you don't even realize how much you've created this little shell for yourself of like you're in your own island until you see some of these other things happening. And then you're like, oh, no. Time to take my foot off the brake because I can only grow the business. I can only lose the weight. I can only grow the finances. I can only grow my career as much as my own foot is on the brake.
And a truer statement has never been spoken. There's a guy, I won't give his last name. I want to say he's done a dozen consults with me. His first name is John. He'll know I'm talking about him because John owns a small food company like you. And John has finally gotten into some stores. You may have heard of them, Sprouts and Whole Foods with his product. He's on his third or fourth round of raising money, right? He had to raise a first amount of money, second amount of money. Now he's in Whole Foods and Sprouts, right? And he's no different than you and me at all, right? And I just, and John, he's one of those guys, he knows what he wants. He does consults with me once every 2 weeks. He was
Amazing.
like, I need accountability. We have the accountability group. By the way, that's still open as of this podcast. It's
open? Y'all
Vinnie
get in there.
/row. It's accountability. John feels like he has enough money that he can just sign up. As a matter of fact, after the phone call happened today, I looked in my emails. He signed up again for 2 weeks from now. He's always in the book every 2 weeks because it's keeping him accountable. But he's becoming successful with his diet and exercise and the whole thing. And look at him, his company. He's no different than me, you, or anyone listening to this podcast. Nothing is ever impossible. If you're waking up and breathing, you could do it. I know this sounds like a self-help book today, but sometimes that's what people need. When I get fired up by watching a cheesy-ass movie on Netflix, and when I get fired up,
23 Blast?
23 Blast on Netflix. And when I get fired up by talking to people like Ken Coleman, it makes me, I'm 62 years old now. I'm still getting fired up. I wake up every morning.
Good.
I get fired up. Right?
Well, what are you supposed to do? Atrophy and just settle for things and just
a lot of you. I'm retired. Now I'm going to live the easy life. Really? Good luck with that easy life, because I watched my parents retire. It's like, what are you doing now? I get a check every month. And doing what? Right? You know what a lot of people do with retirement money? They go gambling. They give it right back to the state. You have one of those pensions the state's paying you. You go give it back to the states. Go gamble. Go see what happens with your money. See how that works for you. Oh, we're having fun, Vin. I have fun when I get. Really? It's fun to hand you fucking money over? Knock yourself out. Like, you want to know what I call fun? Going to villacapelli.com
and ordering olive oil.
That's how I have fun.
That was a segue for the champions.
Yeah. If you guys want to know how you do major podcasting, people go, Vinny, how do you do it? It's like, I know how to segue right into a Villa Capelli ad is how I do it. I don't know what you're up to.
Now you're more Pacino than Walken, and I like it.
Yeah.
That's when the passionate Vinnie.
That's right.
Ensues.
That's what I'm up to. I'm up to villacapelli.com. And here's the thing. Real olive oil ain't cheap, but Villa Capelli does a pretty good job of keeping the price low.
They do.
Here's the crazy part. Let me tell you something, Anna.
Okay.
I go to the grocery stores. Eggs are now $6-7.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. I go to the grocery store. Meat is more expensive, right? I bought some cayenne pepper the other day. That was more expensive. Everything is more expensive. You know it's the same price? Villa Capelli olive oil doesn't seem to go up. And they still give a 10% discount. Put in promo code Vinnie. Now, why am I just telling you to use one olive oil? There are other good olive oils out there, but some of them are cut up to 40% with seed oils. And you are none the wiser because they won't tell you that. They will say extra virgin, first press, the tree doesn't even miss the olives yet. They'll put all this kind of marketing. Doesn't mean anything. You want the good stuff? Get it from Puglia, Italy. That's right. That's where Mr. Stallone came from. His family is from Puglia. That's where Anna's family's from. And that's where Paul Capelli's from. Paul Capelli's no longer with us, but his husband, is that a widower or widow? Widower? Yeah. I have trouble with the gay thing. You know, it's like when one dies, what does the other one become?
So he's a man.
Stephen Crutchfield took over the company and spinning like a top. That company is just killing it. Go to Villa Capelli, put in promo code Vinnie, get 10% off. If you spend more than $125 after the discount, you'll get free shipping. That's 2 ways to save at Villa Capelli. Let them know we sent you. No wimpy Y, VINNIE. Anna, we're talking about motivation here.
Yeah.
Right. And let me tell you something else that's motivating me right now. I'm not getting paid to tell you guys this, but I will be in Washington, D.C. a week, next Sunday from when this podcast comes out.
Let's get a date. On the 13th. Okay.
October 13th, I'm going to be at the Metabolic Revolution, metabolicrevolution.org. I'm just handing you guys that. I'm not
Where is it?
That. It's going to be on the mall somewhere. It's like at something. It's this big rally, and we're going to be out there.
The mall is enormous. Are you going to be like, is it just, let me look it up.
Anna, go look it up. We'll figure out where we're going to be. Each one of us we're going to go up there for 5 minutes. I'm going to be there. Georgia Eade is going to be there. I love her to death. If she wasn't gay, I would have married her. My other girlfriend, Nina Teichels, will be there. Robert Lustig will be there. Mark Cucuzella, who was just on the show, going to be there. Great. Everybody's going to be there. There's a lot more. I can't remember all the names, but they're going to be there. And I'm always looking forward to chatting with these people because they're always fun. Come on out. What this woman is doing is nothing short of amazing. You may have heard her on the podcast last week. I'm talking about Jessica Apple, or some people know her as Jess Apple. So check that out. Again, free plug for that group because they're doing the stuff. Anna, did you figure out where it's going to be?
They don't have a website.
No, it's .org.
Rally.
No, metabolicrevolution.org. You don't see it there?
No, hold on.
Are you on .com or .org?
Revolution.
It should be something.
There it is. Metabolicrevolution.org. Okay, save the date, October 13th. It just says Washington, D.C. I'm just trying to get a more specific.
They should have
location. Maybe David Robinson will come out. My oh gosh, it's a book about brain health, and I can't remember the name because of my brain.
Is my unremarkable
my unremarkable life. It's a great book. Okay. Oh, the Sylvan National Theater on the grounds of the Washington Monument from 3 to 4:45. That's what I was looking for. Great. But if you go to metabolicrevolution.org, all the info is there on the landing page. That's so cool that you're doing that.
Yeah.
All the DC people need to turn up. You need to go drive into the city. You need to figure out the parking. You have to drive down Constitution Avenue. It's a pain in the ass.
You act like you know this area. Oh,
I do. I do.
Look, folks, Anna Vocino would be at that event, but she's not important enough. But you know what she did? Let me tell you what I got, Anna. You see what just showed up in my menu? You see that?
Did you see my nice note I wrote you?
No, I didn't. Where is it?
Oh, my God.
There's a note in here?
Yeah, look on the title page. Which, by the way, I found out for years I'd been signing books wrong. I didn't know you're supposed to sign on the title page.
Where did you sign them?
Right here on the title page. Don't read it. I mean, read it, but don't read it out loud.
I'm reading it. I'm reading it to myself.
Can you read my writing? I have terrible penmanship.
Yeah. Oh, this is so sweet. This is so sweet.
Eat happy. Mostly directed to Serena.
Let me hold it up again. Eat Happy Italian, right there. Yeah.
And it's like it's a nice quality, but it's softback, so it's easy to move around. Easy for me to ship to events.
Anna, you never looked hotter than this. I mean, you look pretty hot there.
You know what? That's real. We took a bunch of shots of me tossing a tomato.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's you look hot there, Anna.
Thanks.
My mom, I'm going to give my mom one of these as a gift.
Please.
And she's going to look at the back and she's going to go, Vinnie, that Anna is so beautiful.
She's so nice to me.
Yeah, my mother loves you.
I love her.
You're exactly what she wanted me to marry.
Well, too bad.
And I tried to explain to her.
You married better.
Honey, Mom, if I had married Anna, we would both be dead. Well, one would be dead and the other one would be in prison. And I can't say which one is which. Thank you for this. And thank you for the wonderful note inside, Anna. I didn't realize
this book drops tomorrow, meaning October 8th.
Oh, meaning tomorrow after this podcast comes out?
Yeah. So if you guys will order this book.
Because that was not planned.
No, this week is so important. So thank you for bringing it up. Honestly, I had forgotten because I'm not doing my job. In order for this book to get any sort of traction, I need you guys to pre-order. Go to eathappyitalian.com.
You can open to any page. I feel like putting this on the coffee table and the TV.
Porchetta. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that.
That porchetta is so good.
Every page I turn to, look the opposite page. Who does this?
Look at the eggs.
Oh my God. I'm just going to flip to any page. Look at this. Look at this, folks.
Oh yeah. The Tuscan bean soup.
It's like a picture book.
Oh, you would like this broccolini.
Oh, hang on. Look at this. Look at this. Anna, did you take all the pictures?
Oh yeah, I took all the photos. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I want to say this for all of the new. Oh, look at this. I want to say this for all. That looks like artwork.
Yeah.
I want to say this for all the people. No, I didn't. Anna, I'm going to go through page by page. You know that. You know I love ossobuco. So
ossobuco is super easy to make too, and I guarantee you're not going to find ossobuco in a restaurant that doesn't have flour or cornstarch mixed in. You got to make it at home. You just got to get the butcher to cut a cross section.
Look at that, Anna.
Oh yeah, that's in Bologna.
Let me brag about you for a second before we go on.
This is a good one, Saltimbocca.
I don't want the book to get frayed. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to brag about Anna for a second. When Anna was doing the original Eat Happy, the first book, she realized that hiring a photographer, this is why Anna and I are the same person. She realized that hiring a photographer would cost so much that she would never realize her money back. It would never come back. So instead, Anna went out and bought a high-end camera and taught herself close-up photography. Am I making this up, Anna?
That is 1,000% correct. Skeeter took me to Sammy's camera in Pasadena and said, "Let's get you a camera, girl." And I was like, "Okay."
And spent a couple of thousand because
it was my credit card.
Yeah, and then not only learned close-up photography, but learned how to photograph food.
Yeah, so it's hard.
Her books. She didn't only make the all the recipes and come up with the recipes. She created food porn. So if you look, I'm going to be honest with you.
If you don't take a picture of the food, people aren't as apt to make it. You know what I mean? So
let me tell you how it works. Sit back and let me weave. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to weave. So here's the deal. We needed to do a show like this. Inspiration, tell people what it's all about. So just hang with me.
Okay.
In the good old days when I was young, we didn't have a phone, right? And we didn't have a computer. So pornography was basically looking at Playboy or the Sears and Roebuck catalog when I was a kid.
The foundations section.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. With those pointy Playtex bras. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Stop it. You're getting me a little turned on.
I figured I would be.
So, I mean, like softcore porn was a catalog. And then the hardcore stuff was Playboy, where they wouldn't even show, much. You would see the top of the Mons Venus, and you would see the top of a bush, and that was it. Right? Go back to the 70s, you'll see what I'm talking about. And when you look at these pictures now, they might as well be in art museums, because I didn't realize when you're a kid, you're just tuned up by sex. I didn't realize that what they were doing over at Playboy it was just artwork, right?
Yeah.
The way they did these photos.
Tasteful nudes.
But that's what pornography was, right? If you got a hold to a hustler or something like that, holy shit, that was gold. But that's all we had. Now, kids can, at the touch of their finger with a phone, they can see just stuff that shouldn't be viewed. And it's very sad because most of the, you hear all the stuff we're talking about, trafficking and all that. I won't watch it. I won't look at it, because I know that they're using girls that are in trouble. These are not girls that went and auditioned for photos over at Playboy. These are girls that are being abused, right? I can't do it. Nor would I want to do it, right? There was something to old world pornography where the pictures, people my age would see a cloud in the sky and go, that kind of looks like a boob. I think I'm going to hit my bedroom, jerk off a little bit. Yeah. You had to use your memory. You had to
back in 30 seconds.
Yeah, that cloud, I'll be right back.
Right? Literally right back.
And you come back and you look at the cloud again. Now it looks like a lion eating a tiger. And it's like, oh man, what happened to the boob? So that's what we had. You had to use your mind. You had to add to the photo. Anna's book is like Playboy to me. It's food porn.
I was wondering where you're going with this.
I could go on the internet. I could go on the Instagram and see the thing. I could go on the Pinterest and see the food. Oh, look, I'm making the food. No. That's Playboy right there. All 3 or 4 books are like Playboy. It should be in a museum.
I've never had that comparison before. Thank you so much.
There you go, Anna. Like I said, let me weave. I'll weave a story for you.
Thank you for weaving a story. I really appreciate it. Everybody,
Later
please.
I'll look at a cloud. That cloud looks like
you know what? Yeah. The meatballs on the cover look like any number of balls. And so if you're into what Vinnie said, and why wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Go to eathappyitalian.com, pre-order this book. Let's try to make this thing have an impact, shall we?
It's the Hugh Hefner of cookbooks.
Oh, okay. I should be wearing a smoking jacket.
You should. You need a pipe. You need to get yourself a pipe and a jacket over there.
I do have pictures of me smoking basil. Oh, here, this one.
Oh yeah, look at. Oh, you look kind of sexy there, Anna.
Smoking the herb, and that herb is basil.
Can I see that photo again? Yeah. I need to get it in my memory bank. We'll call it my memory bank.
Gross.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Okay, good. I'm good. Yeah. Okay. The show just went off the deep end.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about exercised fat for maybe like 5-10 minutes, then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, yeah. But look, I wanted to get this inspirational because we never talk about inspiration enough. I was talking to a young woman today, and it's her second phone call. She goes, "It's just not working for me. I'm not losing the weight, and I still have GERD." I'm not going to give her name. I'm not going to embarrass her, but she'll probably hear this show. And she's a very sweet woman. And I was like, "All right, take me through your diet." And long story short, she was having 2 bananas before noontime. And, English is not her first language, so I'm not sure which she heard on the phone the last time. She was also having bread before noontime.
So and she wasn't really doing NSNG, really.
And she kept going, "I'm having yogurt, and it's high-fat yogurt." And that's what people do. They go, "Oh, I can have high-fat yogurt?" Oh, by the way, I think she was putting raisins in her yogurt. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying.
Yeah.
But I said to her, "You're not doing it yet. You're not doing it." And I said, "Here, do this and go back and read the PDF." And you're going to know which country she's from. And I said, she goes, "And I cook pasta every night." And I'm like, you're still not doing it. Right. But she thought, if I just mix meat in there with all this other stuff, and if I just mix coconut oil, this is not a fad diet, folks.
Right.
This is a lifestyle change. You can't go, Vinnie says, eat high fat stuff, eat coconut oil, eat olive oil, do all this stuff. And I could keep eating pasta, bread, and bananas. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you got to reduce the carbohydrate intake.
Right? So, yeah, this isn't do that and this. It's cut out that and do this instead.
Real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the exercise fat. Do you remember Meryl Schindler from your time in LA, the food critic guy who was on the radio in LA for years? He's kind of like an LA food legend.
The name sounds familiar, but
he has a very animated sort of sound, and he grew up in the Bronx, so he has the accent, and he loves food, and he talks about it ebulliently.
I don't know.
What
was he on?
He was on I know he was on NPR. I know he did a segment on K-Rock. I know he was just that eponymous food critic guy who was all over LA, and he knows the whole LA food scene. And I got the honor of doing his show yesterday to promote the book and was thrilled. But here's the deal. He's the mainstream media guy. He's not going to he loves all food.
Right.
And he was, gracious enough to have me on his show when really obviously he eats bread, he eats pasta. He did say he's trying to watch his sugar. So he was interested, but it was a big disconnect. I mean, there was somebody on Twitter today who was like, "How can you do Italian food without the pasta? It makes no sense." And I understand that this book is probably going to anger some people because I have the audacity to make sauce and put it on meat and vegetables instead of pasta or pasta substitutes, which, by the way, you can put it on whatever you want. I'm not the boss of you. But if you're listening to this podcast, I'm assuming you're doing NSNG and you're going to do your level best to eat this way. But I think that there is still a big disconnect of I am eating higher fat. I'm eating my healthy fats.
Right.
But it's but you have to make other adjustments. So you either make the spaghetti squash or the vegetables or the broccoli and put your sauce on that, or do the meat, you know what I mean? And take the stuff away. And it's sometimes hard. It's a paradigm shift.
Yeah. And I get it. The woman was Italian, and pasta and growing up with grains, big part of her life. And she and her husband are here now. They're both Italian, and she's struggling a bit, but she's going to pull. I have faith. I know she's going to pull it through and do it. Sometimes
she will.
Don't hear you the first time when you say things. She heard part of it: eat high fat foods.
Right.
She just missed the second part. So,
listen, Anna, if I could get in, if I could just even in speaking with Meryl Schindler for a hot second, if I somehow made somebody listen and go, "Oh, I'm trying to watch my sugars, maybe I should check it out." I understand that if you go into these media outlets, it's like a gateway, you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that somebody out there is listening and they're not going, "Oh, another gluten-free bitch." You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's well, look, people do that.
I'm going to run up against. So
we put everybody into a category, right? If you some people go, I'll just say something like Serena said this too. they'll go, "What do you do for fun?" It's like, "Oh, I shoot skeet." And some people don't even say, "What does that mean? What do you shoot skeet?" It's like, it's a shotgun sport. And the next thing you know, so you're MAGA? It's like, "Oh, no, I'm a gun
yeah, I'm just
I do competition."
Yeah.
How does that make me MAGA? Right? It's like, I don't understand how that works.
Right.
But as soon as you say one thing, the assumption is you're that.
Right.
And that's the world we live in now. Oh, wait, you have a gluten intolerance? Okay, you're one of those.
You're one of those. High maintenance.
You're a tree hugger, you're a vegan, right?
Right.
I know tree huggers who are not vegans.
Yeah.
Right? Not many of them. I think there's 2 in the world.
I love trees. I'll hug a tree.
I love trees too. I'm a big tree fan, but I'm not a vegan.
Nope.
Right? I don't see how one says that you're the other. It just makes sense. Rhonda Patrick.
Okay, Rhonda Patrick. I subscribe to her Found My Fitness newsletter. I'm a huge fan, and I hope one day she'll come on your show because I know she'd be a wonderful expert to talk to. She can get granular in the science, and I enjoy it. She still makes it in a way where I can access it because I'm not going to get super granular myself. But her newsletter from a couple weeks ago really struck me because you always say on this podcast that exercise is a poor way to lose weight, but it's the fountain of youth.
Right.
And so she had some science that's kind of tied to that. She opens with the quote, "Metabolically healthy obesity may sound like an oxymoron," but she basically goes on to discuss that the importance of exercise, which is the fat that's found on obese people who exercise versus the fat found on obese people who do not exercise is like 2 completely different fats.
Right. And by the way, just to let you know before you go on, Anna, Ben Bigman has said the same thing and said as much on this show, on the show. So what she's saying is not new, but it's worth hearing. So please go on.
Well, she goes on to talk about all fat is not created equal, which we know. Gaining and losing weight requires an energy surplus and energy deficit, respectively. She goes into the inflammatory cytokines. Healthier fat tissue may be more metabolically active and be composed of less fibrotic tissue. That all sounds great to me. Metabolic dysfunction worsens our body's ability to store lipids. So rather than sit in our fat cells, these lipids circulate throughout the body where they can accumulate around our organs and muscles, contributing to insulin resistance and inflammation, 2 root causes of chronic disease, which we know as well. But always a good reminder of like, this is why we're doing what we're doing. When you hear it in black and white about inside the body, you're like, oh yeah, I think I'll go for my hike. I'm not going to skip that today. Even though the effects of exercise on weight loss are modest at best, especially long-term, it's still recommended to people with overweight or obesity. Of course, exercise can help with weight loss in these people when combined with other lifestyle interventions like dieting. And even without losing any weight, exercise makes people healthier by improving risk factors like blood pressure, blood glucose, and blood lipids. But what if there was another way that exercise was improving our health span? So then she goes on to describe same BMI, different bodies. Now, I know the BMI can be a problematic metric, but for the sake of argument,
in this case, if both people have the same BMI, so
but different behavioral patterns.
I guess we can say we're comparing an apple to an apple in this case. Okay, so she's got 2 people with similar BMIs. What were the outcome? And did she do that? Was this
it was no, she aggregates studies and comments on them. She does not perform the studies herself.
Okay, so this study, like Zoe Harcombe.
Yes.
Okay.
So this study, she said, research, and I'm reading this from her paper. Researchers were interested in whether characteristics of fat tissue would be different between self-reported regular exercisers and non-exercisers. To investigate this, they recruited a total of 32 adults with overweight or obesity, so their average BMI had to be greater than 30. 16 of whom who had participated in endurance exercise for a minimum of a few years, and 16 of whom did not exercise regularly. I don't know anything about strength training aspect. I don't know. Not only did the regular exercisers have a 25% higher VO2 max and better indices of cardiometabolic health across the board, e.g. insulin sensitivity, but they also had profoundly healthier fat tissue, which included a more favorable extracellular matrix composition, fewer inflammatory macrophages, more mitochondria, and a greater fat storage capacity, more dense with capillaries to be able to carry the nutrients back and forth. Fat cells with better lipid storage capacity, more enriched with mitochondrial proteins. And I just thought that that was really fascinating. And she did end it with saying, is it causation or is it correlation? We're still left with the major unknown. But I guess it comes back to that thing, Vinny, that you say exercise is the fountain of youth. And I say it can't hurt to go out and do some exercise. Go get it.
Some of the, now to my brain, because I've been in this world for 40 years and my degree is in exercise physiology, there's a bunch of courses in there. Of course, you're going to have more capillaries because when you do aerobic activity, you build up more capillaries, right? Which, of course, you're going to have more healthy mitochondria because as you exercise aerobically, you build up more mitochondria. So, of course. And with that, you're going to have a better VO2 max than someone who's sedentary. By definition, I'm not really shocked, but I'm a little shocked that it's 25% greater, but that's really cool, folks. You should hear what that, Anna, can you go back and read that part? You said the VO2 max was as much as 25%.
Correct. Greater. Higher. Yep.
Yeah. So again, hear that, folks. And as we get older, our VO2 max goes down. I had Dr. Maffetone again a few weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about VO2 max and all that kind of. And the week before that, I think we spoke someone else about VO2 max. I keep my VO2 max way up.
I mean, couldn't it be argued that let's say you lose a bunch of weight with NSNG, but you're like, well, I lost the weight, I don't need to exercise it. It seems like if it's better for somebody with a BMI over 30, it would certainly also benefit because we all have a little bit of body fat on us. Wouldn't it make sense that you would want to have that?
As you've noticed on this show, I've said tons of time that you can lose. I've had people in wheelchairs lose hundreds of pounds that don't get a lot of exercise because they're stuck in a wheelchair. And so I've had people take me up on that challenge, and I have people calling me bragging, going, hey, I've lost as much as 150 pounds, never exercised, right? Okay, that's fine. But the fountain of youth is that exercise. They proved that they could do it without exercise. I'm happy for you. You've made yourself metabolically healthier. How about you really go for it with that exercise? All right. And that's why I always bring up one of my favorites, Scott King. He did it all when he was over 600 pounds. He did it all at the same time. And there are several other people who have done that, where they said, okay, all I can do is walk a few steps, but that's what I'm going to do. Right? Exercise is absolutely the fountain of youth. We know that grip strength matters as you get older, right? I play with my grip strength all the time, right? The aforementioned looking at the clouds. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Maybe I am. You don't know.
Grip it tightly.
But grip strength matters. I'm always in my gym here. You see it right behind me. That's not a prop. That's an actual gym around me. And I go to the gym in town, right? As you know, when I went through chemo and everything, I couldn't do 5 push-ups anymore. That's not the case anymore. I'm still not completely cleared from cancer, and I'm doing a hell of a lot more than 5 push-ups, I can tell you that. And I can do a lot of pull-ups again. That's how I make sure I'm 62 years old. You got to make sure you're still able to do all the stuff, right? Yes, sarcopenia takes over, but you can retard the effects of sarcopenia so much. I mean, I'll look at my hero, Jack LaLanne. Yeah, he was looking diminished when he was in his 90s.
Right.
Right. But the guy was still swimming, pulling, boats behind him. He would swim every birthday. He would swim a mile or 2 miles or 3 miles, pulling the number of boats behind him of his age. I think he stopped when he was in his 70s. Can you imagine having 70 boats hooked to your waist and swimming past a mile?
No.
Can you imagine swimming a mile?
No, I can't.
Relate it. The guy was just amazing, right? Your body will keep going as long as you keep it in shape. And I'm glad that Rhonda Patrick wrote about that. And I've been calling exercise the fountain of youth forever. Yes, you keep mitochondria, you build up capillaries, and you certainly keep your VO2 max higher, which is associated with longer health and lowers the risk of all-cause mortality for longer. At some point, we all die. But don't you want to be as healthy as you can until you die?
Yeah. We don't need that 10-year decline at the end where it's just shit.
Yeah. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but Ronald Reagan was shot in the early 80s, took a bullet. And he had to rehab. Ronald Reagan, how old was he in the early 80s, Anna? Do we know? He was in his 70s, somewhere in his mid-70s?
70s, yeah.
And they had to, he started working out with weights. Part of the thing was to rehab, and they started training him with weights, and he kept that going after his rehab. They had to redo all the presidential suits because he was busting out the suit. Yeah. So, and people said to me, oh, he must be on hormones or this. I don't know if he was or he wasn't. What I can tell you is muscle builds at the same rate until the day you die. The problem we have as we get older is we need more rest in between workouts. I already know that at 62. I can't pile workout on top of workout on top of workout anaerobically because it takes a long time to get there, right? Yeah. I need more rest in between. Sleep is more important than it was even 10 years ago. And certainly way more important than it was 20 years ago. I wish I had better sleep hygiene back then.
Yeah.
Right? And one more thing.
And another thing.
This is a new thing for me. I don't drink very much alcohol, Anna.
Yeah.
But I used to enjoy like a scotch every week and this and that and the whole thing. And of course, going through chemo and everything, I cut my scotch out for a while, for a long time, right? It's just not conducive.
No, you got to.
Going through chemo. No reason for it. I don't need it. I tried to have a drink the other night, just a shot of scotch. I went over to a friend's house. They had a little thing for my birthday. And I had a glass of scotch. And I noticed that I didn't have any kind of relaxing reward from it. I went right to just not enjoying it. Yeah. I didn't feel good. I poured the shot myself, so I know it wasn't a 3-finger scotch or anything. I drank 1.5 ounces of alcohol, and when I woke up the next morning, I could feel it. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't really hungover or whatever, but I could feel it. I said, you know what? This is stupid. I'm going to stop drinking until at least the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to reassess. Maybe I'm just going to stop drinking altogether.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where it's worth it anymore. I'm not feeling, I'm not enjoying it. Right. It is, I just don't drink that much. So I'm done. I think I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm out somewhere a year from now, someone goes, hey, let's buy you a scotch or a thing or a wine. I may have it and try it again. I don't know. I haven't put a definite thing on it yet. Right?
Can't hurt to not.
When I took off for chemo and I was like, it's just not doing it for me. Yeah. So I'm done. Maybe I'll try heroin next. See if that does anything. Maybe crack. Is crank still?
The world is your oyster.
The
crank.
Cocaine.
I don't know the difference between crack and crank, but I'm just making I do feel like they're definitely NSNG.
Yeah, there's no grains in them. Now, cocaine is made from poppy seed. Is that it? Is that the one that's made from poppy seed?
Yeah. So you're saying cocaine's a seed oil?
It's a seed.
It's a seed oil that's been pulverized, so therefore it's toxic.
Yeah, can you believe I'm 62 and I still haven't even tried marijuana? Is that weird or?
No.
Shouldn't I have tried it at some point?
No.
Something? Yeah, I'm going to keep that one going for a while longer too.
When we were in the 90s, though, we say like you can't. If you ever have smoked pot, you can't run for president. That's what we would say in the 90s.
Right.
Because then because remember Clinton didn't inhale.
Yeah, he says I tried pot, but I didn't inhale. It's like, well,
yeah.
So what did you do? Did you put the thing in your mouth and blow out?
He 1,000% inhaled. Like
Yeah.
everybody knew that was BS.
Well, Bill Clinton had a problem with all sorts of smoking devices. He used a cigar on an intern wrongly.
That's right.
There
were issues. But then it became with George Bush.
Put it in your mouth. You're not supposed to put it in some
you put it in the yeah.
Yeah. He had problem with tobacco and
yeah, for sure. But then it was George Bush and he had done cocaine. So then people were like, well, I guess this pot thing doesn't matter. But we did say that in the 90s. Like, oh, if you smoke pot, you can never run for president.
Now it's like, hey, you want to run for president? You better start smoking pot pretty quickly.
You need to make a YouTube video of you doing drugs. And then you might have a chance
you're chasing the dragon. That's a drug term, right? Chasing the dragon.
I think so. I think it's in that movie.
Yeah, I heard.
I know we have to wrap it up, but I forgot to bring something up about the book, a giveaway that I'm doing.
Oh.
Did you know that I'm giving away an entire leg of prosciutto?
Anna, hold yours up higher. And then Debbie, get this. Wait, Anna, we put your face like a little bit in the photo. Like that. Wait, we could do better than this. Let me put mine here and do this. And no, that looks worse. Oh, no, that looks good.
I think it looks good.
All right, so let's do that. All right, Debbie, take this and make this a thing. Okay, that's good.
Okay, great.
Okay, now let me hold it up. Go ahead, talk about the
giveaway. Is going to be because this book drops Tuesday, October 8th, which if you're listening to this podcast on Monday, it drops tomorrow.
Okay.
So the 8th through the 12th is the very important week, and we want to share it. If you're holding a picture and you share it, you get an extra entry. But as long as you share it on socials and tag me, you get an entry. And Megan and I are going to be tracking all the bajillion shares. So I don't care if it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the things are. Please share the book. Somebody will win an entire leg of prosciutto. A whole leg.
Are you kidding me? Is that real?
Leg. Yeah, you can buy a whole leg of prosciutto.
A big giant ham.
A big giant ham.
Okay, I'm doing this. I'm getting that ham.
And everybody who's pre-ordered multiple copies, you're going to be getting your bonus this week. And thank you for doing that. But the giveaway. No, wait, Vinnie, you can't enter. You can't enter the giveaway. You can't win the giveaway because that would be fixed. It'd be fixed. It's fixed. You're not the Don King is not going to operate here.
Okay, hang on.
You can't win. You're like the parent company. Like you can't win the leg of prosciutto.
Okay, can Leona win?
Sure.
Hey, Leona, you want to get paid next month?
You want to go in on us? Keep sharing that book. Daddy wants a leg of prosciutto.
Get your husband. Get Tom, Leona. I need Tom to hold the book up. Win that thing. Here's what I want people to do. I want someone to win that prosciutto for me.
Oh, God.
That's how we're going to do it. I will pay you for it. You win it. You want to send it to me. I will pay you for that leg of yeah. Can I do that?
No.
That's wrong.
You can't win the prosciutto.
Oh, man.
Do you want me to just send you a leg of prosciutto?
No, I can buy my own. I don't know what you're going to hold leg anyway. All right.
Everybody wants a leg of prosciutto just mailed to them. Who doesn't want that?
Norma, what are we talking about? Is this the good stuff?
Yes, it's the good stuff.
Man.
And you could put it on one of those things that they put it on and do the
like
do the knife. Yeah.
I want that. I want that gift.
Ideally, and I said this 2 years ago when I started writing the book, I was like, what I want is I want to do a giveaway where we print a recipe on prosciutto. I want it printed on prosciutto. And then once you eat it, that recipe's gone forever.
Ooh.
But we couldn't figure out the technology to print on meat. But then I found this beef jerky company that does print on meat, but they wouldn't print on prosciutto. They would only print on their jerky, and it had all kind of chemicals and sugar and seed oil, so I couldn't do that. So I just decided to do the leg of prosciutto, the clean leg of prosciutto.
Give them one more. Tell them exactly how they can win this prize again.
You Tom, have to.
I need Tom listening. Come on, Tom.
Share the book with your audience. Okay, so share it and make sure you tag me. This means that there is even no purchase necessary. Okay, that's a giveaway. You get extra entries if you're holding the book because you bought the book. Take a picture of yourself with the book. You get extra entries.
Nice, got it.
See? And if you want to go to your local library, this is going to be at libraries. You can check it out of the library.
Yeah, you don't even have to buy it. You can get it for a library card.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, folks, go next weekend, metabolicrevolution.org. Yes. I will be there. No, Anna will not be there. She wanted to make it, but she couldn't.
I'm not as important.
Unfortunately. Also, we have other stuff going on. VinnieTortorich.com/row if you want to be in a VIP group. Go check that out. That's still open. We're going to close that. Go on.
Everybody who's listening to this, if you're on the fence about being in the VIP group, I jumped in on Monday night.
Yeah.
You want to be in the VIP group.
Celebrities show up. One Mr. Chuck Klausmeyer is there. He's been there every week. Mike Rowe came in 2 shows ago and hung out with us in a VIP group. People are hanging out in the VIP group. So people have asked to leave it open for a little while longer. So I'm leaving that open for those people to come in. So check it out. Oh, the other thing with the /row thing is your first month is free. So if you want to bug out after that, you can. Right?
What a loophole.
Yeah. So you guys can come check it out and then go, it's not for me, and I'm out. Okay.
I don't see why anybody would do that because it's so valuable. Everybody who asks questions, people who are like very honest and open about where they are in their journey. You give such great advice. It's so valuable.
All right. We've blown enough smoke up my ass. Folks, go to Amazon before you go to VinnieTortorich.com. Click through the Vinnie Tortorich. No, go to Vinnie Tortorich before you go to Amazon. Click through the banner. You could get Anna's book that way. I got one for free. I'm keeping this one because there's a very nice note. Check it out on eBay later on if you want Anna. And I'm going to buy another bunch of them. I think I'm going to buy between 15 and 20 of them because I have a lot of gifts to send out for Christmas. And I know all of these people are not on my list. And that's what I hand out. Over the years, I've handed out Eat Happy and then Eat Happy 2. And now I will be handing out Eat Happy Italian this year and probably next year, unless she writes another book by then. We've done all of the bona fides, right? Vocino.substack.com.
Oh, yeah. We're good.
We brought up the word revolution during the show, so we're going to have a little song that includes revolution. So on behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life in living and do it with the Beatles.